Hey, welcome to the show. We have a lot to get through tonight, and I want to get right into it. 2.92 million in the state of Texas, with addition of 2927, none have recovered. 50,953, which is already close to 51,000 deaths in the U.S. 32.8 million plus 34,088. 583K plus 693. Vaccines, well, starting today, at least everyone got one dose, 11.6 million, and 8.9 million fully vaccinated, 30%, 40%. That's good. Really good. The reason I wanted to start the show this fast was because the very latest incident happened at CCISD, where two board members, first there was one, now it was two. This comes a couple days ago when John LaGoria, a member of the CCISD school board, complained about the homework thing. I mean, let me tell you, on the very first season of the show, I dealt with the subject of homework, and since then, there's been no issues with it. And now I see this, look back at my episode, and it's like, what the hell is wrong with him? He said there's a large amount of homework gets sent home in math. 15 problems. My question, teacher, is what are you doing in the classroom? And the words not sit well with the members of the AFT. Nancy Vera says this: we have no more scoundrels like him on the school board. And Longoria was criticizing teachers and staff within the district is unacceptable. And I agree with him. He actually throws the teachers and even principals under the bus by saying the principals have too much to do, they don't have time to be instructional leaders. That's the problem, because he obviously still doesn't get the concept of public education. We'll get to the concept of that in a little bit. And Longoria also said, my experience is being that there are some teachers, just teachers, dumping work. My first question always to that teacher is, what are you doing in the classroom? After that board meeting on let me tell you, after that board meeting on Monday, Dr. Vera is calling for the vaccination of Longoria while mentioning how hard teachers with CCISD have worked, especially during this ongoing pandemic. He's like, if he represents public schools and talking like this about the teachers, how it is, that's all he knows in the school board. And Longoria's and Chris 6 News has reached out to Longoria for comment. No response. But there is two sides to every story, and by looking at that clip, I have the clip. And so what I'm going to do is try to find what we have to do is find out about this issue, because there is another side to every story. So all we have to do is find out. Oh, there it is. So I'm going to. Here's what I'm going to do. We're going to go on break right now because I need a lot of time to focus on this because this is an ongoing issue here. There's 2 board members that agree with this, and what I have to do is get this thought process in my brain so that I can figure out what to say because I have a lot to say about what happened here on Monday. I was going because the reason why I was off is because there was nothing new to say until this popped up. So I need to get through my thought process about this. So coming up, I'm gonna play you. I'm gonna walk you through this because I cannot play it on the TV. We're gonna hear what Longoria has to say about this and see what he has to say. I talked to Jeremiah Marshall after the story. There was no updates besides the fact that another board member was involved. We're going to give you the update story about that. And then a bit later on, we're also going to talk about we're also going to be focusing on the wearing short shorts at a theme park. This lady got kicked out because of this. Why was she escorted out? I mean, because of the dress code. Do theme parks have a dress code, or should they enforce a dress code? That's later. Look, you guys, the reason I had to go on break like 5 minutes from now was because I had to get this thought process in my brain because I didn't do the show a couple days ago. But now when I see this and hear from the AFT in Corpus Christi, the thought process that comes to my mind is how much homework is being given to students. I mean, this guy's hearing from a lot of parents and also from another board member. We'll get to that in a sec. This thought process in my head is now coming to a giving a break investigation into what Mr. Longoria said and to what another board member has discussed. So what I'm going to do right now is, since I told you I'm not going to play it on the TV because my Chromebook will not connect there, but what I am going to do is walk you through it. Yep. 15 pounds, he said. And that question lack of instruction. Sure took notes. He didn't know. It was his child. It's his children. Instruction within it. The parent never contacts the future, never contacts the parents. That's because the teachers are struggling. Same problem. Whole cats and dogs, exactly. 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 Okay, so I'm going to wrap this up here. Exactly. That is what happened. And again, and also, and now, after that, he's saying, well, and now she's saying, well, he's throwing people under the bus. What I just heard wasn't very great opinion. I mean, what the teacher should have done was given out like 5 of the problems and then the rest of them at home so that they could figure out what to do. I mean, they should have took notes and stuff. It's like what happens here. It's like Vegas. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. What happens in the classroom stays in the classroom. This is like Vegas. Nothing is being done. And a lot of problems with this. I mean, what I've just described to you was Longoria's child in algebra dealing with these kind of issues. 15 problems. What's wrong with that teacher? And now what I hear is this. The resignation of Longoria will mention how hard teachers have worked. I mean, it's their opinion. I mean, if this is how Vera wants to do it for these teachers, say, let's give out 15 math problems. Let's give out 20 math problems. Let's give out 25. Let's cramp hands on the students with their pencils and see how they like it. If that's what she wants to do, then parents are going to be complaining to the school board and straight to Vera. But there's another board member that agrees about that, and we'll look at that when we return. So, today's show is going to be focusing on the board meeting that happened a couple days ago. It happened to where they were talking about the scores, and Longoria brought up a good point. Teachers giving students 15 problems of algebra, and then when he's all like saying like, oh, the teachers are doing this, they should have took notes, they should have done 5 or 10 problems, and then this and that and the other. And now after that board meeting, Dr. Vera did not like it and said he needs to resign. He's calling for the resignation of Longoria while mentioning how hard teachers have worked. Because during this pandemic, he's like, if you represent public schools and we're talking like this about the teachers, how is it that he's still on the school board? And again, he has not responded to the comments. And I'm thinking about talking to him about it and telling him his side of the story. But there's another person that agrees with it. There is another board member, Jamie Alejandro. It's about the subject of math scores. That's the large amount of homework that gets home in math, 15 pounds. My question to teachers, what are you doing in the classroom? Here's what I think teachers do in the classroom. She's probably sitting there, smoking weed, doing drugs, playing on the phone, talking to her boyfriend or her husband, talking with her friends, just sitting there, staring out the window, and doing nothing. Those words that Longoria did not sit well with the members of the AFT. The president said, I don't know how John Longoria thinks that perhaps our teachers are not instructing in CCSD exhibit the fact that we are doing so much better, the test scores are better. And he also included on it, Alejandro on his explanation list for agreeing with Longoria's comments and saying how that doesn't represent true leadership. But that person too, what I'm going to do is get him on the line, get those two on the line, tell them and ask them about their sides of the story. So it's like the old saying: there are two sides. There's now, you know the old saying, two sides to every story. Now there's going to be three sides to every story. We've heard from Nancy Rivera. Now we're going to hear from two sides. We're going to hear the triangle story. What does that mean? Well, that means that means three sides to every story. That's what I call the triangle. That's the three sides to every story. I'll have a final thought about this in a moment. We all want our kids to shine, right? We want them to succeed in school. I've dedicated all the 4 years of doing the show, it's been dedicated to education. The reason why it is to end distraction to the educational process. And from what I heard Longoria said, I think it was true. Teachers are not doing what they're supposed to be doing, giving out lots of math homework and not doing what they're supposed to be doing because teachers are not doing what they're supposed to be doing. I mean, teaching degrees, sitting there doing nothing. That's probably the job of a substitute teacher. And those substitute teachers, I have to agree with all the students. They sit there and all substitute teachers sit there and do nothing but play on their phones. While teachers, on the other hand, just sit around and get on their computer and do whatever. Paperwork. But it's probably the instruction, like 15 math problems. And in the case of those two people, I think they made great points. And for what the president has said, it's her opinion. If she wants to sit there and give vaccinations, that's the choice that she has to make. And it's like the old saying it's the old saying from Dr. Phil. When you choose the behavior, you choose the consequences. If she chooses to have the resignation of both board members, then she chooses to keep on doing the same thing. What needs to happen here is that someone needs to go in there and observe what's happening. And in the case of Longoria's kids, child doing 15 problems and not taking notes, they should have took notes. If they haven't taken notes, done 5 of the math problems in class, 5 or 10 math problems in class, and then doing the rest of them at home, then they would just be doing God knows what, playing video games, going out with friends, all that kind of stuff. But when you give out 15 math problems already, you are cramping hands of a child. It's like this. Okay? Continuous running, and then my hand, it's cramping. Man, stop. And I get it. It's nothing but continuous writing. And all these people want to do is make the students' hands cramp. The more they write, the more their hands cramp. And if that's going to be a problem for all teachers saying, you're cramping, people saying, oh, you're cramping our child's hand, parents complaining, the teachers saying, oh, you cramped my child's hand, what is wrong with you? And she'd be telling you an exact same answer because I want them to write. The more they write, the more the hands grip. So, I don't think calling for resignation of both on two members is not a good idea, except when they just make good points. When you make a resignation, people will be looking at you saying, that should not have happened. I want this video to go out because what we need to do is make sure that this doesn't happen again. Until next time, take care of yourself and each other. That's all this is. Give Me Back Wednesday. We'll see you again to Give Me Back Friday. Have a good night, everyone. I'll see you Friday.